Hey YouTube, Military Gun Guy here. I am going to be showing you how to do some home parkerizing on this latest victim, which is my Romanian PSL sniper rifle. Once again, I'm kind of starting this in the middle of a build, so I'll bring you up to speed. This was a parts kit that was in pretty bad condition. I had to replace the rear trunnion, or sorry, the front trunnion, had to re-rivet it. And then press the barrel back in, headspace and whatnot. And then I also, if you saw in the other video, had to work on the scope rail. I had my bead blaster guy re-bead blasted just to kind of clean the area up. It's now sitting in a degreasing solution, which is basically purple power. If you can see right about here the difference in color, obviously this is clean bead blasted metal, this is bead blasted metal that oil has soaked out. So I'm going to get all of that out of there before I do the parkerizing, because that will ruin the overall finish. While I'm going to do that is I'm going to scrub it really good in some purple power in this bucket and scrub this area really well, and then rinse it off and soak it in acetone. That'll get any of the little traces out, and then I'm going to put it in my parkerizing tank. This is 2.5 gallons of distilled water. I have to figure out what the ratio is of parkerizing solution. I am using Allegheny Arsenal manganese parkerizing concentrate. Their stuff has a pre-black in it, which actually gives you a really nice durable coating. I've used several others. They're all mostly equally good. After I'm done, this is actually going to give me a dark gray finish, but I actually want a black finish, so I'm going to be using this Caswell black oxide concentrate. This part is used cold, this part is used hot. My propane tank. I got my little cheap Chinese respirator because I don't want to die of weird things, even though this thing will probably kill me just as fast. And I also have a thermometer. So the steps are going to be, while I'm cleaning up the rifle itself, or actually the receiver, great shot. Anyway, while I'm setting up, or while I'm cleaning everything up, I'm going to be heating up the parkerized solution. I believe this is 1 to 28, so I have to double check the instructions, but I used to use a clean measuring cup, preferably glass. Put the solution in, heat it up to about 180 degrees. You don't want to go above 200. Let that sit until the part stops fizzing, or you get it as black as you desire. From there, I'm going to pull it out, I'm going to rinse it well, and then I'm going to put it in this bucket, which will have the Caswell black oxide, so it'll turn that dark gray to a nice even black. And then from there, I'll rinse it thoroughly. I will soak it in oil, probably because it's hot as hell out here. I'll probably leave the part out in the sun to kind of open up the pores a bit, and then oil it some more, and then probably, if I'm lucky, by tomorrow I can reassemble and show you my completed PSL rifle. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting all the stuff prepared. I do have water in here, just a matter of getting all the little other stuff dialed in and go from there. You shouldn't really need to be told how to clean. Ideally, you want this thing as clean as possible. Surgically clean is the preferred method, to where there's no oil, none of this stuff seeping out the sides, because as these parts get heated up, oil will come from places you didn't even think possible. And it's easier, you know, I could have done this in 2 pieces. Oh, also parkerizing, you do not want to get it inside of the barrel or any of your gas ports. So I have a rubber plug here, I also have a rubber plug there. Pull this out and you'll see a rubber plug down there, and that will basically prevent the parkerizing solution from fouling your barrel and getting, because this basically etches the metal. But you'll get a nice, very even, very durable finish that will last probably forever, hopefully, if not longer or less. So we'll come back and I'll have everything prepared and ready to go, and then I'll show you the parkerizing solution steps. Okay, so it is a windy day, which does make this a bit more of a pain in the ass. I do have a meat thermometer. I picked up at Walmart for like $6. We're way off as far as temperature, so we're just going to let this thing sit for probably another 10-15 minutes until it gets to 180 degrees. In the meantime, I have scrubbed the hell out of this thing with degreaser. I've rinsed it with degreaser. I'm going to hit it with some hot water, and then some acetone, and then from there it'll basically go right into the parkerizing tank. Let's see. Oh, use distilled water. Gallon, 2.5 gallon, whatever. And most of the stuff that comes out of your tap is not good. It's not good for parkerizing. Distilled water is the best. Bought this at Lowe's for like 25 bucks. Cheap camp stove on eBay for like $15 delivered. You can use any type you want. This is a dual burner, which actually kind of helps heat your thing evenly. This parkerizing tank I also got on eBay for they're about $140, $150. You can get one with a lid for about $200 delivered. These are great. You have to scrub mine out after. You see some scale from past parkerizing jobs. The good news about parkerizing, you can use it again and again and again and again and again and again. Because as long as you top it up and you don't completely get it all messed up with oils and stuff, the stuff actually will last for a long time. And the concentrate, black oxide concentrate, is mixed cold, 1 pint to 9 pints. But you actually don't need a super amount. You're going to soak it, or you can actually dip your part in there and kind of pour the material over it, and that will do just as good of a job as if you soaked it. Obviously soaking is better, but then you're also using a lot more material. This also is reusable, again, as long as you don't get it contaminated with oils and dirt and all kinds of other crud. Alright, so once the temperature hits the proper, 175, 170-ish, this will start to boil up a little bit, and then we'll dunk the barrel assembly into the parkerizing tank, and you'll start to see the process from there. On a side note, here are the parts that were already done prior to this video. It came with 4 magazines, the release, the safety. You can also see miscellaneous springs. There's also the muzzle guard, flash hider, whatever I call it. So, these are done prior to this video buying it. So all I'm going to do with these is, once the thing is ready to go, I'm just going to go ahead and assemble this after. But I actually might dump some of these parts, get the oil off, and stick them in the black oxide just to kind of even up the coating. There's no point in having, blued looking parts with black oxide, which is a little coarser look to it. We're gonna get close here on the actual temperature. Once it hits about 170, you can go ahead and put your part in. Okay, so temperature is creeping. There we go. We're probably roughly about 160, 165 once this thing stops. I went ahead and put the barrel and the barreled assembly in, actually, or receivered barrel, whatever you want to call it. Barreled receiver, there we go. It still has a little ways to go, but I went ahead and put the part in, and you can see where it is. Focus in. It is boiling and bubbling. As it gets hotter, it's going to be boiling even more. The thing with parkerizing you also have to keep in mind is that some parts are made from different material, meaning, it's all obviously metal, but the barrel may be made from a barrel. Anyway, the carbon content of the barrel may be different, so some of your parts will be darker than others. Sometimes you'll see if you like, say, if you're redoing a Garand, the barrel will come out dark, the receiver will come out light, etc., etc. That's mainly because of the amount of carbon that's in there. So typically with more carbon in it, it will turn darker. You can sort of see, you can see where it's really starting to bubble, kind of fizzing, kind of looks like it was in cola. So this thing is actually really doing a nice job parkerizing. It will be uneven. You can already tell, like, the rear trunnion is not going to be as dark as opposed to the rear sight and maybe the front part of the gas port. So once I put it into black oxide when it's done, that will definitely even everything out. I'm also using a set of tongs with plastic ends. That's to keep from scratching your parkerizing. You do want to turn this periodically. A lot of people recommend suspending it in the parkerizing solution. You can do that, or you can do like I did. I just kind of stuck it in there, but periodically you're going to have to pull it out and turn it. I also have a set of heavy-duty, in my phone, rubber gloves, because this thing is really hot. All right, so we'll keep going, and when it's done, we'll wash it off and put in the black oxide, get that section done, and then we'll move on to oiling it and then final assembly. So we're moving right along. The rear trunnion plate doesn't seem to be changing too much color. Same as the rivets, again indicating a dissimilar carbon content in the metal. The barrel is kind of a dark gray. The rear sight is an even darker gray, and I went ahead and put in the flash hider, the safety, and the top cover back in just so everything matches up. So maybe another 15 minutes or so, and we'll pull it out, rinse it off really well, and then we'll dunk it into black oxide solution in there and pour everything down and see if we can get as black as we can. Okay, so real quick, this is out of the Parkerizing tank. There it is. Has a nice, fairly even dark gray finish. It's dried actually pretty quickly in the sun, so I'm going to rinse it off really good and then put it in the black oxide solution and blacken it up, and then rinse it really good and oil, and we should be done. This is the beauty of the black oxide solution. As you can see, the spots that were not turning, including the rear trunnion, actually are starting to turn black. Ideally, I should be immersing this completely for 5 seconds to 30 seconds, for 5 seconds to 30 or to 5 minutes, sorry. But just using this little thing and kind of soaking it seems to be working just as well. Once it is done, I will rinse it very well and then oil it, and we should be good to go.